Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. Sonic's first game. Truly the birth of a legend. This game is one of the most impactful games. No, one of the most impactful things to come from the early 90s. See, it's hard to overstate Sonic's impact on the early 90s. TV had Bart Simpson, the movie theaters had gotten the Ninja Turtles, and your game console had Sonic the Hedgehog. My formative years. No wonder I love Butterfingers, pizza, and chili dogs so much. Fuck you, early 90s. You're why I don't have any self-control now. Radical! The blue blur burst out onto this 1990s scene, seemingly fully formed, ready to challenge the relic of the 80s that was Mario and his supremacy. And man, would it be a challenge. Nintendo's share of the video game market was sitting at over 90% in 1990. They were king. And their turtle fighting, princess saving, dirty ass plumber was the golden goose. It wasn't even close. Sonic, though, he was made to fight mustachioed men in red, and Mr. Hedgehog would prove to be ready to challenge that status quo as surely as his middle name was The. He had speed, he had attitude, and your soccer mom's just gonna have to deal with it, man. Today on Juice Desserts, gotta go fast. Or else death will catch up. Let's talk a bit about the history of where it all began. A retrospective on Sonic 1 for the Sega Genesis. Or the Mega Drive, if you're a tea-sucking commie. Sonic 1 was released on June 23rd, 1991 on Sega's Genesis console, known as the Mega Drive outside North America, thanks to creators Naoto Oshima and Yuji Naka. Alex Kidd, a character seen as Sega's mascot in the 1980s, just wasn't cutting it for Sega's floundering home console market, and so the company held an internal competition to decide a brand new mascot for the brand new era of the 1990s. During this time, Yuji Naka was looking for a new game to work on after the cancellation of the game Metal Lancer. He ended up getting together with Naoto Oshima, an artist and designer who had wanted to make a new character, and the two set off to make something that would rival old King Mario. One of Oshima's early pitches apparently was a game called Twin Stars, about twin brothers who protect the world of dreams from, and I quote, Nightmare World's Boss 13, or something. What the fuck does that mean? I wonder if this eventually became Nights into Dreams. Either way, it didn't end up happening, and the concept eventually became old Mr. Needlemouse. Since the main gameplay concept Naka and Oshima settled on was speed, they came up with a rabbit before a hedgehog, since rabbits are known for their speed and agility. This rabbit character would use his long, stretchy ears to grab and throw. Then it was around this time that game and level designer Hirokazu Yasuhara was brought on to help, and the three abandoned this throwing attack when they realized the constant stopping to do so would slow the gameplay down, especially since Yuji Naka insisted on a minimalist control scheme for the game that didn't allow for more than one button. This single button gameplay mindset would definitely come back to bite Yuji Naka in the ass one day, now wouldn't it? What the fuck? Sonic would only use one button, while Mario needed two. One could play Sonic with a dang Atari joystick, thanks to its single button. Literally. For whatever reason, the Genesis and Atari 2600 use the exact same controller ports. I'd do this in Sonic 3 to control Tails when I needed to fly Sonic somewhere, since I didn't have a second Genesis controller. Or friends. Incidentally, the scrapped grabbing and throwing concept would eventually evolve in the 1994's Rice Star, but that's a topic for another video. So subscribe, Rice Star fans. Or don't. I don't give a shit about Rice Star. I ain't making a damn Rice Star video. It's too bad the Sonic franchise forgot about not needing to stop to engage enemies when they started throwing in life bars for the baddies in Sonic games. Sonic Heroes, man. This franchise's rot began with you. Life bars in Sonic. What's next? cartoon animal people with real fucking guns? Bestiality? This franchise somehow managing to become even more furry? That'll be the day. Yeah, a joke about Shadow with a gun and Sonic kissing a human. Real genius level comedy here, folks. Please subscribe. Yuji Naka's one-button scheme meant the only way to attack enemies would be jumping, which led to his idea of a character that could both somersault and roll. From here, the rabbit concept was thrown out and eventually replaced with a spiky animal that could roll into a ball, along with a man shaped like an egg, both designed by Oshima, with the animal responding better to focus testing held by Oshima during a trip to New York. Naka programmed Sonic, Oshima designed the characters, and Yasuhara made the stages. Also, they came up with some completely batshit origin story where Sonic was a fictional mascot for a US test pilot who died trying to break the sound barrier. And people joke that Mario is a game about drugs. Yeah, Mario drugs joke. Genius level comedy. Please subscribe. I kid, it's kinda neat, but whatever. Some other early ideas had Sonic with a human love interest named Madonna, and enemies left over from that Twin Stars pitch that were a bunch of weird monsters and demons. I definitely know a thing or two about demons. Inner demons. Ones that, unlike Sonic, I'm not fast enough to outrun. Get out of my head, Sonic! Then it was Tom Kalinske, former CEO of Mattel, and the then current CEO of Sega of America, who came up with the idea to reduce the price of the Sega Genesis and pack in Sonic 1 with the console for free. Sega of Japan thought this idea was insane, but that was just what Sega of America did. That idea succeeded tremendously and cemented the Sega Genesis as Super Nintendo's equal rival in the West, and Sonic the equal to Mario. The rivalry between Sonic and Mario would go down as one of the biggest in entertainment, the video game equivalent of Mickey Mouse versus Bugs Bunny. Meanwhile, in Japan, the Mega Drive got outsold by the fucking TurboGrafx 16. Sega's home consoles wouldn't catch on there until the Saturn, and Sonic wouldn't catch on till Adventure 1 and 2. I'm sure that comes as a surprise to all the many young Sonic fans who grew up on Sega of Japan ruling the roost when it comes to Mr. the Hedgehog. But back then, the Western market was the place Sega leaned into with Old Blue Streak speeding by. And Mr. Sue Happy, Ken Penders, is like one of the only reasons they aren't still. Had a bad dream.
Time to microwave the baby.
So, thanks to Kalinsky's bold strategy, the Genesis succeeded in the West and bombed in Japan. So, good call there. Anyway, does Sonic 1 still hold up, especially compared to its sequels? Well, who am I kidding? You already fucking know the answer. The game is hyper popular and like 35 years old. The heck am I even making this video for? Oh god, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Sonic fans, please help me! I'm sorry for making fun of your blue god! There's a language to Sonic and his movement. One with a bit of a learning curve. Physics, speed, momentum. You're playing as a living pinball, and there's a lot of new concepts that come with it. Like, for example, if you want to go faster down a slope, you press down, and bam, Snickers bar here is a ball. Rolling so fast, the screen can barely keep up. Can't get up a slope? You need a running start. Missing those platforms or enemies you're trying to land on? Too much or not enough forward momentum? You need to reel it back by pressing back on the D-pad while in the air, or punch it by pressing forward. Every single jump, every single slope, every single platform in the game all requires feedback, depending on if you want to fight or lean into your constant momentum. Even learning these basics can easily be overlooked by new players. New players like, say...
Point where we need to admit that this was never really a great franchise.
Nope. Sonic was never good.
Yeah, it was
A pinball physics platformer is still a novel concept that can be difficult to grasp to this day, I'd say. It's too bad Sonic 4 Episode 1 didn't get the physics memo. How do you make a game that's trying to be like Genesis Sonic and fuck that up? That's like making dry soup. Or fixing homelessness by committing arson. The jury totally didn't buy that defense, I can tell you that much. It's surprising just how much precise platforming is in this first game, especially compared to its sequels. There being no spin dash yet makes for some precarious momentum building segments. Not to mention so much of its level design not revolving around speed. So much slow platforming. Too much slow platform.
Way too much fucking slow platforming.
Generally speaking, Sonic's stage design revolves around being multi-tiered, multiple paths. The higher you are, the more streamlined the level design is, and the faster you get to go. Make a mistake, and you're punished by being forced on a lower, slower, more risky path. A second, and even third run-through of the same stage could end up different, depending on the level, and it's hard to memorize the level layouts because of this, which is too bad because memorization of these stages on top of mastery of that language of momentum means getting to go fast. I used to think classic Sonic was easy. Then I watched Corone play classic Sonic for the first time. I loved watching it, but I then realized I was
Forged in the fire of this madness before most of you even took your first breath.
radical! Green Hill Zone, your training ground to learn Snoopy here's basic movement, along with this game's language. It's the game's first stage, and its best, bar none. They went all out here, making sure this place was as polished as the crotch of a horny teenager discovering a brand new use for body lotion. Green Hill's gonna be a player's first impression of the blue blur, so it definitely needed to be a good one. Imagine if it wasn't. Imagine if Snick the Hick here came out of the gate with fucking Labyrinth or Metropolis Zone, basically doing the equivalent of hunching over and spilling his spaghetti from his pockets right after saying hello. No successful Genesis launch to challenge the Big N. Nintendo would be powerful enough by now to demand every gamer's firstborn child. Well, you know, all 7 of the gamers who managed to have sex. Learn to take a joke, Sonic fans! Oh wait, you're Sonic fans. Hold on, let me load up the right sound effect. There we go. It's a joke, it's a joke, it's a joke. Don't leave, Sonic fans. I love you. I don't love you. So you start the game and immediately have this great-ass visual. There's just so much going on, and yet it manages to be composed so well. No mess, no clutter, just nice. I especially love the waterfall. Super Mario World is a great looking game too, but I think this just looks better, especially when we're talking about just Green Hill Zone. Move to the right, and after a few rings, you'll have the franchise's first enemy, a Moto Bug, along with a raised platform and a ring box. If the robot hits you, you lose your rings, which, genius. Just plain genius. See, in Mario, coins were scattered all over the place throughout the stages, serving as hints to where the designers wanted you to go. They were all bright and shiny, so players would naturally be drawn to them, learning that they were an object to be collected. But beyond giving you an extra life with 100 of them, there weren't any other gameplay purposes behind those coins. In Sonic, though, the coins were now rings, and rings were your health. You get hit, rings are scattered everywhere, and since it's such a spectacle, you'll probably frantically try and gather those rings back. The player is instantly taught how this mechanic works. I know this because I remember having this exact thing happen to me in a video game kiosk back in 1991. Reminds me of when a bully would steal my lunch money, like in the hallways before class, or during recess, or any time I try go to the bathroom in my house. It's been over 2 decades now, Albert. Get a job! Who even keeps letting you in? And when your rings are at 0, the counter flashes red, signaling danger. Like when you piss off your dad, and he starts flashing red too, before he takes off his belt and beats you. Radical! It all just works so well. Players will probably want to jump up and investigate the ring box, especially since the Motobug doesn't look very friendly. Destroy the box, and your ring counter goes up by 10. Now you know. Normally when I break TVs, I'm the one who has to pay, and not get paid. It's why I stopped playing multiplayer games. I'd keep throwing my controller at the screen and at my family. I really need therapy. And a wife. And a diamond-encrusted chastity cage to contain my gigantic crotch monster to wear on a private yacht. Give me money! Make my dreams come true! Here's a bridge.
Looks good enough to jump off of.
With these jumping chopper piranha enemies. But wait, would you look at that? There's a row of rings above. Players may jump after the rings, getting a feel for that jumping momentum. They may even land on a chopper and learn that jumping is an attack. Here's your first physical obstacle, a small curved half pipe. You could jump over it, or you could try and run to see what happens, and watch Sonic gracefully run up and out of the curve. Like that time I tried driving and gracefully drove up and onto the curve, hitting that pregnant lady. Her kid is fine. Being an orphan builds character. He'll need it to get around in that wheelchair. Physics! The same thing that makes a busty chick's chest bounce. Now in a video game. Somebody get the Nobel Peace Prize Committee on the horn, because I want a piece of that prize. Raised platforms block your way, forcing you to jump. Jump right into the skulls of these crab meats. If the player didn't know jumping did damage, they do now. By the time you get to this spring, you should have jumping figured out pretty well. Jump on it and whee!
これ何？あ、ビヨンすごい！
If you aren't fast enough here, you'll fall down into that slower, more dangerous path I mentioned, where you'll have to deal with the dreaded Sonic 1 spike. These stupid bastards are sharper than those smart-ass
Kids, I try and learn in my basement.
There are more springs down here, but if you miss, you'll learn that Sonic 1 spikes are bad. Very, very bad. They'll penetrate you harder than the people did on that island that ain't South Island, if you know what I mean. The spike glitch. In Sonic 1, spikes ignore your post-damage invincibility frames, and Green Hill's lower levels are filled to the brim with them, lined up and ready to teach you that this game, as good as it is, still has some of that patented Sonic jank. So now you know to stay on the upper path, don't you, Jimmy? You stupid little bowl-cut having bitch. If the spikes don't teach you,
Being in my basement will.
here's a loop-de-loop, a staple of the Sonic series. These are pure spectacle, just to show off the game's physics. Look at what Sonic the Hedgehog can do. Suck my blue dick, Mario, I'm upside down! And then this pipe section that basically ejaculates you out faster than a No-Nut November survivor on December 1st. Radical! So much of that spectacle that the Genesis so desperately needed to compete with Nintendo. And considering I'm talking about this game right now, and not speaking of our supreme overlord God King Shigeru Miyamoto and his avatar of destruction Mario, it sure as hell worked. Anyway, if you clear the stage with more than 50 rings, you're greeted with a giant-ass ring at the end that basically invites you to try and grab it more than a pair of titties at Hooters. You think I'm here for the fucking wings, Jessica?
Don't you fucking call the cops on me, or else someone ain't getting her tip.
Grab it, and you're treated to the first example of the biggest exhibition of hardware capability Genesis had to offer. The special stage. Ooh, look at me, Super Nintendo. I'm the Genesis, and I can do Mode 7 shit too. Ooh, look at me. I'm the Sega Genesis, and I can do 3D. Suck my Mega Drive dick, Nintendo. Here, let me show you the trick to beating this. There we go. I hate Sonic special stages. I think they're just awful. There, I said it. They just ain't fun, and they don't play to Sonic's strengths. See, instead what they've always been about is showing off the special effects capable on Sega hardware. Stuff to show off on the back of the box. Things which were done using programming tricks only applicable in specific, narrow ways. Not ways practical to enriching level design and gameplay. Things that were visuals first, gameplay second. Shit sucks, man. Imagine my utter disappointment when I plugged in Sonic 1 to SNK, and instead of playing as Knuckles through Sonic 1 like you could in 2, I instead, got blue balls. You owe me Knuckles in Sonic 1, Sega. That's in Sonic Origins? Cool. Which version of the game did I need to pre-order for that? Christ. Here's my proposal for a good special stage that actually plays to Sonic's strengths. First of all, 2D stages. They gotta be 2D stages. Make them normal-ass stages designed by the normal-ass level designers. How about making them races? Like the finale of Stardust Speedway against Metal Sonic. In Sonic 1, they could be against a roller enemy, since that thing is basically an inch away from being a Metal Sonic anyway. They can be against Metal in CD, Mecha Sonic in 2, and Mega Sonic Mark II in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Winner gets a Chaos Emerald. Bada bing, bada boom, fun Sonic special stages. Not this mess. This 90s screensaver looking shit. This thing looks like the aftermath of a drunken Skittles bender. Visual vomit. Not that the Chaos Emeralds are even worth it in this game. There's only 6 of them, so no Super Sonic, so what the heck's even the point? Anyway, fuck it. In Act 2, it's hilarious that they put an invincibility box right next to a bunch of death pits. Congratulations! You're undefeatable. Psych, you dead, you dumbass. Shouldn't have been running so quick, huh, stupid? What you think a game named Sonic was? Fast? Get out of here. I haven't felt this baited and switched since I got cheated out of those titties. The restaurant is called Hooters, Jessica, not restraining order. By the time you get to Green Hill Act 3, the game starts throwing more complicated stuff at you. Moving platforms over spikes, walls you can break, and this rolling thorn bridge thing. I remember playing this game in that mall game kiosk for the first time back in 1991 and just getting wrecked by this thing. I was an innocent child, you son of a bitch. That trauma is why I'm a
Monster now, and I wanna pay it forward with my dick.
I love how you can burn it in Mania. Yeah, fuck you, Thornbridge thing. Took over 25 years to get my revenge for killing me back then, but it was worth the wait. This is Green Hill Zone, not Rusty Nail Zone. You don't belong here, you bastard. By the way, I gotta say that 3 acts overstays a level's welcome in this game. Less acts with more variety in them later on in the series was definitely appreciated. So, of course, Sonic 4 didn't get the memo there either. Someone get Sonic 4 a dang secretary. It just keeps missing all these freaking memos. Anyway, here's an angry fat guy swinging his balls around. Genius level comedy, please subscribe. You'd think the freaking apocalypse was happening with this song. Dear God. The only thing descending from the heavens, though, is this ginger bastard. Unless this is what Jesus looks like, and Leonardo da Vinci was way off, huh? Wait a minute. Fat, bald, ginger, nerdy virgin with a militaristic hatred of furries. Yeah, no wonder the internet loves this guy. He's all of our role models. So here's the first boss of the series, the Egg Wrecker, piloted by
Dr. Robotnik!
Nobody calls me that anymore.
Okay, so in Japan, he was known as Dr. Eggman. And in the West, Dr. Ivo Robotnik. Sonic Adventure 2 would canonically combine the two so that Robotnik would be his name, and Eggman his title.
何なのこれ。誰なのこの人。
Professor Gerardo Robotnik.
Sort of like how Raymond Juiced is my name, and Professor Monster Penis, Destroyer of Pussy, my title. According to the Sonic Heroes manual, Robotnik here is also a feminist. Yeah, and according to the internet, I'm also a sex offender. But that don't make it true, Jessica! This guy has gone through one heck of an identity crisis over the years, with like 6 different designs. And that's not even counting his concept art. Well, I guess now with Jim Carrey, there's now 7, maybe 8 outside of Jim Carrey. They all typically have the same design concept though. A bald guy with a big red mustache, who wears red, black, and yellow, and whose body is shaped like an egg. Anyway, this first boss, if you couldn't already tell, Robotnik is a genius. After all, he has the genius idea to fight an enemy known for his super speed by using a big, lumbering, slow wrecking ball. After this, bro's gonna try buying Twitter next. Get into the swing of things here. You get it? The swing of things? In order to avoid the ball and defeat Robotnik for the first time. Free the animals, and let's move on to a brand new stage. Oh, where did all the fun go? I don't understand. Welcome to Marble Zone, aka the opening stage of Altered Beast. A game about bodybuilders trying to get to a furry convention. By the way, I came up with that stupid joke in the shower and I had to spend 30 minutes repeating the words furry convention and bodybuilders over and over so I wouldn't forget to write it down. I hope you laughed because doing that definitely caused psychological damage. Because when you think of Sonic, the first words that come to mind are, of course, slowly pushing freaking blocks. At least I'm not doing it as a werewolf, I guess. The music in this stage is great, though. Hell, the entire soundtrack in this game is fantastic. There's not a bad song here. But I digress. Marble Zone. You start out on the surface, surrounded by ancient ruins, before working your way inside. By the way, I just gotta say, it was cool back then when Sonic was a mysterious character who could have ties to these ancient ruins, much like Knuckles does later. Too bad that's been abandoned nowadays, and the speedy, non-static Sonic is, ironically, a nearly completely static character with no direct ties to any world building, as dictated by Big Brother Sega. So you work your way inside Marble Zone and— oh god! An actual jump scare.
Okay, 来たよ。
There's quite a few instances of stuff falling from the ceiling on you from off screen. It's real easy to get surprised by it. One weird thing about this stage is when Sonic jumps after pushing a block, he comes out of ball form. I wonder if that's a glitch or what. There are quite a bit of secrets hidden in the walls in this stage, if you take the time to look. I definitely have quite a few secrets in my walls as well, but shh. Don't tell anyone, or else I'll
Add you to the collection.
It's pretty important to look, since if you run out of lives and haven't gotten any continues from the special stages, you have to restart the entire game. I'm amazed these games got so popular despite that, since limited continues is universally fucking bullshit. These caterpillar enemies are a good example of precise jumping in this game. You need to hit them in the head, or else things get tricky. Much like with the people who come over to
Look for their missing loved ones.
Near the end here, it's possible to fall and lose a lot of progress in this already too long stage. God, so much sitting and waiting in this stage. In this whole freaking game. Sonic! So fast, so very, very fucking fast. If you die at the boss, you'll have to fight him without rings, which happens more than once in this game. This time, Robotnik drops fire on the platforms you're on. A really good idea. Fire makes so many
Problems go away.
To beat him, just jump back and forth more than my emotions when I'm off my meds. Next stage. Spring Yard Zone is the most subdued pinball-themed level in the franchise. I'm not even sure you can call it one. Compared to this, Casino Night is one heck of a glow-up. What the heck were they even going for here? It seems like it's some sort of suburban town, maybe? And yet it's filled to the brim with springs. Like, way too many springs.
Way too fucking many springs.
All the other stages in the game are pretty thematically well defined. Nature, ancient ruins, a city, bullshit, a mechanical clockwork hell, and then you have this place. Springs. In a yard. Whatever, screw it. I'll cope like the game says. I'm cartoon spiky ball Mickey Mouse. No think, go fast. Fast, fast, fast. Cope? What the heck do you mean cope? Cope with what? My inner demons I mentioned? They know that if they
Cause me pain, they're gonna suffer with me. I told you to get out of my head, Sonic!
This level can't decide whether or not it wants to be fast or slow. You got springs, of course, and ramps, and bumpers, and half pipes. But then also so many slow-ass platforms. These boxes are like actually legitimately way too slow.
Way too fucking slow!
Hydro City in Sonic 3 has something sort of similar, but done so much better, which is true of Sonic 3 in general. Here's another boss that's just the Eggmobile with something attached to it. It feels like Eggman hasn't had a chance to be creative yet in his attempts to kill Sonic, like in CD and 2. So we get things like this. Oh crap, it's a Sonic 1 spike! Okay, so granted a spike in Sonic 1 is legitimately scary, but still. They are creative in their gameplay at least, I guess. With this one, Robotnik will... Oops. I killed him. I killed him too fast. Let me go record some more Korode for... With this one, Robotnik pulls the blocks up from under you, slowly giving you less room to work with. This can actually be tricky if you aren't careful, especially since you need room to build running speed to get out of the way. Next stage! Oh God, no! Sonic seems like an impatient dude.
I'm waiting.
Like he really would literally die if he had to wait more than 10 minutes anywhere. The guy's name is Sonic. He's the fastest thing alive, as they say. He is literally synonymous with speed. So, with all that said, why in the blue bloody fuck would you have such a slow-ass water level? One that takes away every single ounce of that momentum language spiel that I've been jacking off about. Labyrinth Zone. The antithesis to everything Sonic. Apparently, Yuji Naka was under the impression that hedgehogs don't know how to swim. And because of that misunderstanding, we have this fresh fucking hell. Can't afford an animal biology book with your insider trading profit? You belong in prison. When underwater, Mario can swim, Mega Man can high jump, and Sonic can induce PTSD. That drowning music, man. If there was a song that exemplified someone counting down to stomping on your testicles, that'd be it. Well, in my case, the song would probably be Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. 'Cause I like cock and ball torture. While underwater, which will be a lot in this stage, obviously, Sonic will need air bubbles that rise up out of the ground. But only the big ones count. And much like the waitress at the Hooters I'm not banned at named Bubbles, these bubbles are real cock teases. And her big ones sure as hell count too. More sitting and waiting. More sitting and waiting. Sonic! Fastest thing alive! Can I say next stage yet, please? Why are there 3 acts to this? Fuck it, let's just jump right to the end. Much like my life, Act 3 involves this infinite loop of falling.
Trapped forever, helplessly suffering, with nothing you could do to stop it.
Oh, I guess you could just press the button. Oh God, where's my button? Someone save me! So, this is the boss, I guess, and this is hope for the future. And this is a necktie. I mentioned every boss is just the Eggmobile, but this is literally just the vanilla Eggmobile. You don't even have to attack Robotnik. You just need to chase him and get out of this vertical section of Labyrinth Zone, all while water rises behind you. No air bubbles here. So, much like being in front of me in line at the grocery, going too slowly is a
Guaranteed death.
Chemical Plant Zone in Sonic 2 has a segment with the same idea near the end, except there the purple-ass water will probably give you cancer. Have fun in chemo 10 years from now, Sonic. Better hope the disease ain't as fast as you, too. Jesus, I'm legitimately sorry for making a cancer joke in a fucking Sonic video. What the hell is wrong with me? Now that we're out of this wet hell, be glad that we won't have to deal with this shit ever again. Fuck, I forgot about this piece of shit! Starlight Zone is the second best level in the game, behind Green Hill. It's fast, twitchy, and mostly plays to Sonic's speedy strengths. Sonic ends up in this cityscape that's under construction. You'll have to deal with lots of lowering block platforms, vents that prevent you from going back, fireballs, and these bomb badniks. A lot of bomb badniks.
Way too fucking many bomb bad.
I love how you're taught the mechanic of these seesaws early on, because the boss revolves entirely around them. You can use him to launch Sonic up to hit Robotnik, or launch the spikes up to do it for him instead. Really clever. Let's move on to the final stage, Scrap Brain Zone. Scrap Brain Zone? What the fuck is a Scrap Brain? This place was originally supposed to be called Clockwork Zone, and to be blunt, that's like a way better name. The inside of clocks are complicated, and this level? Complicated. About as complicated as the relationship with my ex, and she was the inside of a clock. The sex really hurt. There's so much going on here, from electricity to fire to disappearing blocks from Mega Man. There are two main paths in Act 1, depending on which way this thing shoots you out of. One path has Robotnik seems to be compensating for some things here. Act 2 has these spinning spheres that ignore gravity. You can build a ton of speed on them and then jump to reach different tiers of the level, depending on your height. Then with Act 3... Fuck, I forgot about this! Scrap Brain Act 3. Robotnik traps you and Mr. Burnses you down into what is literally Labyrinth Zone Act 4. Whoever decided on this being a thing should be more fired than I was from the clockmaker. I was lubricating the gears, Mr. Ritterhouse. Learn to knock. Lubricating them with my cup. If you're fast and skilled, there are a ton of shortcuts in this level to get it over with faster. Because now that we have, it's time to crack open an egg. This song goes way too hard for this fight. It's epic and powerful and should be paired with a battle against a giant robot or something. Instead, it's more overcompensating. We get it, okay? You have a small dick, Eggman, and now we all have to pay. Do what normal small penis owners do and just run for office already. At least this isn't another Eggmobile fight. It's actually pretty clever. Robotnik is hiding in one of two pistons that will come out of the floor and ceiling, and you have to hit the one that has him. But you usually only really have time for one hit, and the decoy piston will also usually block you from going for the right one. And in between each cycle will be the spark attack, one that can kill you easily if Sonic goes into his awkward edge animation from the pistons on the floor, so be careful. Once he's defeated, Robotnik tries to escape in his pod, which you can hit one last time to murder the bastard. Reminds me of being able to kill Dr. Wily with a specific weapon in Mega Man 4, but doing so there soft locks the game. So that's Sonic 1. Was it as good as the sequels? Nope, definitely not. Maybe Sonic CD, but that's arguable. Everything about Sonic CD is arguable. But I digress. Is Sonic 1 worth playing? Yeah, totally. It's a great platformer. One that doesn't always focus on what it should way too often. But I'm definitely gonna enjoy playing it again in Origins, especially as Knuckles. That's a long time coming. Oops. I mentioned Knuckles one too many times. Ken Penders is now suing me.
I lost Sally Acorn because of you, you son of a bitch! What am I supposed to jack off to now, huh? You're fucking up? I'll eat your family!